What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, I'm going to explain to you how I personally unlocked the one-arm pull-up. It was one of the very first advanced calisthenics skills that I personally learned after like the handstand and L-sit, stuff like that. And I know a lot of people struggle with it because it is a pretty difficult skill. I'm going to give you all the tips, all my experience, and give it to you guys. Without further ado, let's go. So I've had a pretty busy morning, so I barely got to eat breakfast. So we're just gonna have a quick little pre-workout snack. We will have a little apple. It's actually tiny. And then we'll have a little Rice Krispie square. We're gonna eat that, and then we'll get on with the pull workout. Alright, it's pretty cold and it's pretty windy out, so I gotta make sure I warm up my body properly, because when you don't and it's cold, the risk of injury is a lot higher, and I personally don't like being injured. I don't know about you guys, but not my style. Let's get a solid warm up in. Whew. Gonna wipe down this little pull-up bar because it's pretty wet. I need to make sure I get a good grip. I want to tell you guys about the first tip, which is pretty obvious, and I'm just gonna breeze through it a little bit. And that is just make sure before you start, you have a solid base of pulling strength. I don't want you starting to train one-arm pull-up if you can't even like do 15 pull-ups, because you're clearly not strong enough to do it yet. And if you're still working towards it, it's a little too early in my opinion. It's just gonna drastically increase the amount of time it takes to learn the one-arm pull-up. So yeah, just make sure your pulling numbers are strong before you start training the one-arm pull-up. Oh yeah, bud. Brand spanking new. Gonna do a bit more of a warm-up. Gonna warm up the scapula a bit more. Rip anything. Oh Jesus, I just stepped in dog, dude. No! Warming up the scapula with regular shrugs and then one-arm shrugs is really gonna be beneficial. It's been a while actually since I done them. Ugh. Oh, not bad. Not bad. First one. Do you surrender? You try to stay awake. These walls you can't escape. I find it really interesting and really cool for myself that I'm literally sitting in the exact same spot I was like 3 years ago exactly, watching like a Chris Harrier video or just like one-arm pull-up tutorial videos on my phone right here, and then I would go to the pull-up bar and do them. Yeah, I don't know why this was like one of the first advanced skills I wanted to learn. I just thought it was so cool, and I don't really do them very often. I kind of lost interest in them, but every once in a while I'll still make sure I can do them. Little Cruz just wanted to learn the one-arm pull-up, and with the hard work and dedication he actually did. So I know you guys can do it, because if I can, anyone can learn it. We'll move right along to the second tip to how I learned it, and that is understanding and learning the actual movement pattern of the one-arm pull-up. Because some people might think with a pull-up you're just gonna grab the bar and then you just remove one hand and then you just do a pull-up like that. That's not really how it works. Pretty much the movement pattern of it is center yourself underneath the bar, and then you pull your left shoulder or your opposite shoulder towards the bar as you do the pull-up. So it's not like you're just doing a straight pull-up like this. You're kind of twisting into it. And there is a pull-up variation that is like perfect for learning the movement pattern of the one-arm pull-up, and I'll explain that to you near the end of the video. Try and demonstrate what I mean. Under the bar. Do it. That's just like the easiest way to explain the movement pattern. All right, that's enough with the one-arm pull-up. Let's continue the rest of the workout. But yeah, one-arm pull-ups, dude, they're taxing, dude. Holy moly. Anywho, let's get on with it. All right, now we're moving on to some Australian rows from the land down under. If you want to get like a wide back, you got to do vertical pulling like pull-ups, but if you want a thick back, you got to do some rows, you know? So one's not better than the other, but they definitely complement each other. Anyways, the third thing that I learned from training the one-arm pull-up is that you definitely, with this skill and this exercise, you do not want to rush it because it's such a taxing exercise. I had to take multiple breaks because I was just putting so much stress on my elbows, because your one arm is pulling your entire body weight. All that weight is going right to your elbows, right to your shoulder. It's just, oof. If you don't do it properly, you can very easily hurt yourself and get pretty bad elbow tendonitis. And I have to like take deloads, rub out all that scar tissue from my elbow. You just can't rush this stuff. Like you see a skill, you're like, I want it now. I want to learn it in a couple weeks. That's just not how the body works. The journey is definitely the most fun part. It's really cliche, but like once you learn it, you're not done. You gotta maintain it. You gotta improve it. Just enjoy it. Don't rush it. Just take your time. Oh, Jesus. Ow. Ow. Ah, that hurt. Yeah, just avoid that stuff. Take your time with it. Build up the tendon and the actual muscle strength with it. All right, let's get into this. All right, we're just gonna end the workout with some normal pull-ups, and then I'm gonna give you guys the best exercises for learning the one-arm pull-up, and then also some of the worst. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so now the moment you've all been waiting for is the best exercises to unlocking the one-arm pull-up, and all of these are in my opinion, so please don't hate me. But yeah, if there's any exercises that I didn't mention, leave them in the comments down below so other people can read it and we can all learn from each other. So the first exercise I think is like the building block for the one-arm pull-up, and that's going to be scapula pull-ups. You saw me doing them as a warm-up earlier in this video for my workout, but definitely if you've never done any one-arm pulling before, making sure that your scapula is strong enough is definitely something you need to start with. Making sure you have a strong scapula will ensure that you don't hurt yourself doing the one-arm pull-up. All right, and then number 2 for the best exercise is going to be resistance band one-arm pull-ups. So this isn't like putting your feet in the resistance band and doing one-arm pull-ups, putting it on the bar and then grabbing onto it and then using that for assistance. But then as you get stronger, you use weaker and weaker bands and you move lower down on the resistance band. So the resistance band does less work and your actual pulling arm on the pull-up bar can do more work and you progressively overload. Resistance bands are just so overpowered in calisthenics. They make the list pretty much every single time I do a video like this. And also if you're curious, I've made similar videos like this on how I unlock the straddle planche, the front lever, and the handstand push-up. So if you're curious on how I learned those skills, make sure you check those out as well. I'll put them in the link in the description. All right, and now the third one is going to be a lot of people's favorite way of learning the one-arm pull-up. Ugh, Jesus. And that's going to be weighted pull-ups. Yeah. Who could have guessed? Pulling skill that requires pulling strength. You're going to want to increase your pulling strength by doing weighted pull-ups. It is definitely the easiest and most straightforward way to increase your pulling strength. Get yourself a belt or a backpack, a weight vest, anything like that. And then just as you get stronger, add more and more weight to it. Start repping those bad boys out. All right, and then exercise number 4. I kind of debated on best or actually the worst because of the amount of stress that it puts onto your elbows, but I'm going to keep it on this one because it definitely helped me, and that is going to be one-arm pull-up negatives. So I'm really nervous about putting this on, mainly because if you do this exercise too early and you haven't strengthened your tendons, your elbow tendons, you can very easily hurt yourself because holding your entire body weight up and then slowly making your way down is a lot of stress if you're just not prepared enough and you haven't conditioned your elbows and just your tendons and just your muscles. But once you are strong enough, this will definitely get you up over the hill into unlocking the one-arm pull-up. And then exercise number 5 is going to be an exercise that I already teased earlier in the video when I was talking about the movement pattern, and that is going to be commando pull-ups. I think this is the most overlooked pull-up variation pretty much out there. I don't really see anyone doing commando pull-ups. They are super helpful at, understanding the movement pattern because you're directly underneath the bar, which is what you want to do, and then you're kind of pulling on one side of your shoulder. It's definitely as a beginning exercise and just throughout the entire process of learning the one-arm pull-up, even if you're not even trying to learn the one-arm pull-up. Commando pull-ups are good. And as a little bonus, I usually do 5 exercises, but for this one, I just wanted to throw this in here as a little whoof. And that is going to be archer pull-ups. I also did this earlier in the video. It is a great way to just strengthening your one arm pulling. I still prefer commandos over archer pull-ups, but they're definitely good, both of them. All right, and now for the worst exercises for unlocking the one arm pull-up. I only have a couple because there's not that many that are like bad. But like I said earlier, these are all my opinion. I'm sure people have unlocked it with these exercises, but the other ones that I've mentioned are far superior. So the first one that I find heavily overrated, that is going to be muscle ups. I've seen a couple people say that muscle ups help them unlock the one arm pull up. I don't really see how. You're wasting a lot of energy doing the dip, and I don't really see the transfer. Maybe it's the pulling strength, the explosiveness, but muscle ups for a one arm pull up doesn't really make sense to me. But for one arm pull ups, I think you need to train a bit more directly towards the one arm movement pattern. All right, and then the final one, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta be a little controversial, and that is going to be like pseudo one-arm pull-ups. I'm not really sure what they're called, but it's when you're doing the one-arm pull-up and you're holding on your forearm of your other arm that's pulling. That's just kind of like what kids used to say, oh dude, I can do a one-arm pull-up, and then they're literally just pulling with both their arms. I've seen a couple tutorials talking how you can work your way down. It's kind of like using a resistance band, but I find using a resistance band is just far superior than using your forearm. I'm sure there's some cases where you just can't afford a resistance band, or you just don't have one, and you have to use only your body weight, then yeah, sure, use this method to unlock the one-arm pull-up. But if you have access to a resistance band, I think it is so much better. You can still learn it with these exercises. The other ones, in my opinion, are a lot more superior. Now with all that yapping done, let's go eat a little post-workout meal, because I am starving. I've probably eaten like 500 calories this entire day, and it's almost dinner time. So yeah, let's go eat some food. Okay, so for lunch, post-workout, almost dinner actually, so just we'll call it dinner. I really hope this video has been helpful to you to unlock the one-arm pull-up. Hopefully you can progress smarter, faster, and better with this video. But yeah, without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and peace out.